Happy Friday, family. Here we are back for our weekly show here at WWT Live. And we got a lot going on. We have ceremonies and weddings and unfortunately some farewells as well. And we're going to get into all of that next right here on Women's Wrestling Talk. Let's do it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Again, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to our WWT live show as part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. I am your hostess for the evening, the Queen Bee. Let's see, I have many names. The Busy Bee, the Sweetest Oos, Queen of the Honey Pot. But for now, you could just call me Honey. And I am here today. I'm so excited. We got a lot to talk about over here this lovely Friday evening and some afternoon for some of you folks. And yeah, I'm also not alone. I have someone with me. We have an esteemed elected official here at WWT. However, it is not the councilman joining me. It is the mayor of Vice City, Mr. Seti Said. How we doing, sir?
We're great. It's Friday. It's a beautiful weekend, Forbidden Door weekend. You know what? I'm happy that I can actually be here at home. I've had some different backgrounds here the past, several shows. So we're going to make it right today.
You've been hustling, man, on that big hustle. And we love to see it on WWT. Shout out to everybody already in the chat. We got Dylan, of course. Happy Saturday to you. Our producer from the future, cousin Ron in the house. What is up? We always love to have you here. Matt, always a pleasure. And Boss Lady is tuning in here from the Bahamas. Yes, her and Professor are going to be hanging out in Bahamas for ACW's Baja Bash that is happening this weekend. And that's going to be a fun time. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the time, Boss Lady. Boza, good to see you. And he's very excited to see our mayor today. We missed him gloating on Wednesday, NXT's recap that his client may bring him the NXT Women's Championship at Heatwave. And the councilman and I did have a great discussion while Sed was hanging around in the comments.
Well, Mr. Boza, I might have a surprise for you early next week during the next recap show. So just, stay tuned for that.
Oh, well, okay. I got to make sure I wake myself up and have my tea ready. So, Eddie James, good to see you as well. Yeah. So, I guess there's congratulations in order for quite a few people, considering that we had some really cool announcements come up before, which I believe was yesterday. We have here the Hall of Famer, Booker T, who has a really awesome radio show along with Brad Gilmore called the Hall of Fame Show, and they have made a deal with ESPN, and they are going to be debuting nationally on ESPN radio, which is really, really awesome. Sed, what are your thoughts about this move for Booker T being a commentator as well on NXT and doing some double time with ESPN?
This is a really big deal that's not getting enough adulation for me. Think back to the Pat McAfee show with their record-breaking deal when he brought his whole podcast and crew over to ESPN. He's probably, if not the highest, he's the second highest paid person at ESPN. This tells me two things, is that ESPN's coverage of pro wrestling is going to grow stronger. Shout out to my guy, Marcus Vandenberg, who handles that department at ESPN, the worldwide leader, covering combat sports as well as professional wrestling. But WWE kind of having WWE, TKO, Endeavor, whatever you want to call them, having their hand in this pot to get those press releases out, to get those interviews with the worldwide leader, just makes them a more global phenomenon. And Booker getting his podcast, Hall of Fame Pod, all the way to ESPN is really huge because he'll be able to provide ESPN with those firsthand interviews of next up talent. Think of his interview he just did with Jada Parker recently that hit the webs in a big way. Now you get to brand more the talent of tomorrow with the worldwide leader. Really huge deal.
That's awesome. Yeah, we love to see it. So congratulations to Booker T. This was really awesome for him. I can't wait to see what they do going forward, being that
I'm a
now
free
he's
agent, Marcus.
huge. Love that. Love that. Another congratulations are in order for a couple of more people, a couple of special people near and dear to our hearts. And, you know, we love to see love here on WWT. We have congratulations for Mrs. Buddy Matthews and Mr. and Mrs. Buddy Matthews now, but also known as Ria Ripley, aka Mommy, leader of the Judgment Day, most would say. The two have tied the knot and said their nuptials on the 23rd. They met back in 2021 and they've been hitting it off and made their relationship public after that in 2022, went on to get engaged, and now the two are happily wed and newlyweds, and we love to see that. She put up a very beautiful post today of her dress, which looked absolutely phenomenal. Quick thoughts on the nuptials of Mr. and Mrs. Matthews, Mr. Mayor.
She's just gonna have a whole husband on the side with Dom in trouble like this. That's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
knew
Nah, I'm playing. I'm playing.
somebody was
Nah,
gonna bring it up.
congrats to both of them. I know it's probably a tough time for her having to recover from injury right now, but if this was in the cards all along, this is beautiful to see that she can still have her joy at this time. We know they've been a couple for some time, and I think in lieu of everything, they've probably been able to spend even more time together with her being off TV for so much time now. So I think that's beautiful all around. So congrats to them on their newfound bliss.
Yeah, what a lovely, lovely picture. Love to see it. Jeffrey, good to see you. Says Rhea and Buddy made it official. Congrats to them. Boza says she looked beautiful in her dress. Saw the post. So excited for them. Dylan says, I'm shocked they didn't fly home to do this. They flied home for an Australian rules game in Melbourne for a day, then gone back. Cousin Ron says, injury right off for wedding time.
Nah, she really hurt.
I honestly, yeah, she legit got hurt, but I also did say a couple months back when this did happen to her, I remember saying that what I wouldn't be surprised if we see a wedding among us in the summertime, you know, while she's recovering. And so, I mean, if she's looking the way she looked, we haven't seen any arm braces on her or anything like that. So she seems to be doing just fine and she looks great. And we cannot wait to have mommy back. But until then, enjoy your nuptials, girl. Enjoy your time. It's going to be beautiful. We love to see it. Let's see. Next, we have one more congratulations. We have a very, very celebrated anniversary for a stapled couple that has worked in WWE. Congratulations to Natalia and TJ Wilson. They are celebrating a anniversary. I couldn't really find exactly how long it was, but they just celebrated an anniversary. We know they've been together for a very, very, very long time. And like we said, we love here on WWT. And it's not only their anniversary, but it's also the anniversary of these two in this classic of a Hell in the Cell match 27, I want to say, years ago, between Mick Foley, aka Mankind, and The Undertaker. Obviously, we know how all this went down. This is the one of the two most classic Hell in a Cell matches of all time, in my opinion. What are your thoughts when you think about the not really the fondest memories, but one of the greatest memories or the most memorable moments in WWE history? Would you consider this to be one of them, Mr. Mayor? And what are some things that you remember when watching it for the first time that really, really came out to you?
I remember everything surrounding this match growing up and how it affected the entire atmosphere of WWE with the risks they took in this match, like throwing Mick off the cage, throwing Mick through the cage, and those spots actually being in the video games at that time. All in all, great memories of this match. I'm glad that we have evolved to where a lot of those stunts are not as necessary for this type of match, that the structure is more safe now. That a lot of action mostly takes place inside the enclosure, but literally groundbreaking history what they did that night, and it's really stood the test of time.
Yeah, Yeah, I would definitely say that this match alone has always been one for the books as the most memorable. Obviously, besides the first one that happened with the first appearance of Kane, when the Undertaker faced Shawn Michaels, but they took it to a whole nother level here with this match. And we've seen countless documentaries and countless moments. Even Mick Foley, when he did his stand up, and he talked about what he remembered about being in this match and how he was pretty much in and out of consciousness because of how many falls and how many, hits that he took. Like it was just unbelievable. I remember watching this live with my dad on pay-per-view, and we were just in absolute shock and awe of what was going on. And we were like, this cannot be real. And then even to find out later on that there was injuries before even going into the match. The Undertaker wrestled this match with a broken foot, for those who don't remember. Terry Funk also came in and helped out with the referees when they knocked Mick Foley through the cage. And there have been countless times where Undertaker said that he damn near thought he was dead. He kept while in this moment, while Undertaker's standing up there, he's just saying to himself, Mick, move. I can't even imagine being in a situation as crazy as this, even for the referees alone and the commentators. Like, it was just absolutely unbelievable. So happy anniversary to the second classic Hell in the Cell match. Let's go to some of the comments. Jeffrey says, famous Hell in the Cell match of all time. Dylan says, I got a feeling we might see this again to some extent with Netflix.
If it's cinematic, sure.
Absolutely. Boza says, to celebrate this anniversary, Mark Calloway Taker was on Maven's YouTube channel, and he said he wasn't a fan of this version of the Hell in the Cell because of the structure of it. Yeah, I did see that article. We even saw moments where they were pretty much tied up by zip ties, and every step these two took on this Hell in the Cell cage, it's something you have to go back and watch from time to time just to relive the madness of this match. But the zip ties were literally popping off with each step that they took on top of that cage, and they were feet in the air. The fact that Mick Foley even said, just let's up the ante and let's start the cage at the top. Let's just start from the top of the cage. And then Undertaker with a broken foot still climbing to the top of the cage and then even jumping down through the cage. It was just so much drama and so much craziness behind it. Jeffrey says the Undertaker had a broken foot in this match as a testament to the commitment in the ring, which we all know that the Undertaker has always had. Mick Foley lied and said he'd been on top of the cell before. Yes, he did tell that story to apparently he said that's the only time he ever lied to Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon had asked him, I want to know that you've been on top of that cage before we do anything. And he goes, yeah, sure, I was on top. Yeah, I practiced it. And he totally was not. He totally lied. But shout outs to Mick Foley and The Undertaker for always putting on bangers and classics. You can go watch them anytime you want on Peacock. They're great. They're fantastic. Next up, we have a very interesting quote, from one era to another. Mr. Paul Levesque, the COO of WWE, Triple H, has made a little statement saying WWE is not a sport. WWE is a movie about a sport. Now, I have to say this is a very, very interesting statement. I'm really interested to hear what the mayor's take on this is. What do you think of this statement by Paul Levesque, aka Triple H?
I mean, I feel him. I mean, he's following in kind of the territory that his father-in-law set, that it's not really a hard sport because the outcomes are predetermined. It is sports entertainment. But the more and more we see them lean into different avenues of sports, including like the relationship with the UFC as part of TKO now, now we have more relationship with ESPN and branding deals with ESPN. You lean more into that territory of the sports world. So you might as well call it what it is. We get breaking news all the time about athletes that are re-signing their contracts or maybe not re-signing or broke a deal. Like the stuff around Jade Cargill comes to mind, how that was broken on all the different sports themed websites and brands. So I get that he wants to make sure people know that, hey, we are sports entertainment. But I mean, there are so many if they're getting covered by hard journalists, think of every big PLE, every big show they do, and then they go down and sit with ESPN. Roman Reigns has been on First Take multiple times. They're getting that coverage. So the worlds definitely intersect. I think this is just reminding people that they're in the entertainment business. So, and maybe it's a play on words because of the pending Netflix deal as well.
That is true. That is true. I think it's a very interesting statement to make, considering the fact that I feel Triple H has always had a very interesting lens to me in the world of wrestling. To be able to see things from his perspective is probably unheard of, being that he's been in, part of all aspects of the pro wrestling business and sports entertainment as well. He's been a wrestler. He's been on the corporate side of things. He's also speaks as a fan, because that's obviously how it starts when they become, pro wrestlers. That they start out as fans, and then it becomes something they love, and then they train and work hard to do it. And he's literally the game and has done it. I think I understand what he means about it as well. Like, it's like theater. It's like Broadway. It's like, like going to a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's all theatrical, and it's the drama. It's the feeling that it gives us as fans to keep us engaged. They have to have a little bit of variety in there. You could call it sports entertainment, you could call it pro wrestling, whatever you want, call it what you want. But either way, it is literally, it is what it is, and which is both kind of together, I would say. So I kind of feel him on that. I don't know if there's been any speculation on what he said, and if people are not really feeling what he said or anything like that, but it's a mixture of things. So it's kind of like a stew, like a gumbo, like it's all of it. It's a sport, it's entertainment, it's a movie, it's theatrics, it's everything. But his words, not mine, and he's the boss. So you can't deny him that.
At the end of the day, quotes like this is what are going to keep people talking about WWE. And at the end of the day, he's achieving his goal.
Yes. Absolutely. Boza says WWE entertains us with storylines, and the matches follow the storylines. Fake TK depends on the matches to build the storylines. Jeffrey says it's a movie about a TV show about a sport. I like that he said that. Dylan also says watch Tony Khan write this comment to death. Cousin Ron also says Triple H toes the fine line between corporate and carny. He really does, and he knows how. He's done that very, very well throughout his career. He's always been able to play both sides, but
articulates it very well.
Yes, he does. Absolutely. It translates very well with the fans, and we love that. Just keep it coming, Papa. Keep it coming, Papa H. Next up, some really cool news, more into the MMA aspect and UFC aspect of it. We got UFC naming Riyadh season title partner for Epic UFC 306 at the Sphere in Las Vegas. It is going to be taking place September 14th, where they'll celebrate Mexican Independence Day as the first sports event to be produced at the Sphere ever. And Dana White is absolutely claiming that this is going to be one of the biggest sporting events of all time. It's going to be super memorable. Hold on one second. Before speaking of presidents and elected officials, we got the mayor in the house. We got another one. Who has joined us really quick before we get into this. Councilman Farrow is in the house. What's up, sir? Councilman, how we duty today?
We are doing great. We have our pitchforks ready. We are about to burn Vice City down to the ground. The warrant has been put out.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hold on.
Torches.
Put these glasses on.
I'm ready for court. We about to storm Vice City.
Not torches. Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh God. You know what? I'm gonna put my hands up.
We are prepared. We are prepared for all claims, and we are willing to fight everything to death.
Hey man, listen, you better bring it. You better bring it, because we go.
Accusations. These are not accusations. This is false accusations. And
Really quick
Oh,
before
boy.
I'll get back to that, but really quick, this is a really big deal. Not because it's the first sporting event at the Sphere. I'm pretty sure a lot of different brands. You can think NFL, basketball, WNBA, soccer. All these sports have probably wanted to get their hands on the Sphere. UFC is the first person to do it, probably because of their ties with Las Vegas. This is huge. This is obviously a wrestling podcast, so the reason we're talking about this is because of what it means for the WWE, because they
Yes.
obviously have necks. The relationship with TKO, the relationship with the Apex, where I was just at Battleground. I believe the UFC will do really good at this event. They have a great weekend, great card this weekend. They have a great number of cards. In my mind, I think this is where you probably reschedule the Conor fight if he can kind of get clear from his toe injury by then with Michael Chandler, just because you want this to be big the first time out. The reason why that doesn't matter from a wrestling standpoint is that the WWE will absolutely do it bigger once they get their hands on it. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
by evidence of how they packed out the Apex. Apex has never been packed like that in their own venue. So think about how WWE can kind of reformat things. And keep in mind, we don't know how they do spacing for UFC right now for this event. We'll know come later this year. But I can just imagine WWE spacing this thing out, the graphics on the outside of the Sphere. I'm thinking it would be an NXT PLE, but imagine if they were able to do Survivor Series at the Sphere. I don't think it would hold that much. This is why I say NXT, because it would put NXT in such a beautiful light for one of their Q4 PLEs if they do it. But absolutely expect WWE to have the second sporting event in the Sphere right at the UFC.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the chat, and I believe it was the professor. Shout out to Professor GB and the boss lady TK. But I do recall that he was the one who said we could possibly have, like to see a NXT stand and deliver kind of PLE going on at the Sphere. Councilman, I want to pose this question to you. What do you see going forward with this deal? Do you think that, especially with UFC, being affiliated with WWE as far as the TKO group, what do you feel could happen as far as, WWE getting their hands on, possibly selling out the Sphere? And what PLE or event would you like to see it in?
I same thing. I agree with the mayor. I think this just is showing the versatility that the Sphere can have with events and everything. Like we've seen it with concerts, we've seen it with just like regular random things like showing like aquarium footage and stuff like that. But like for WWE, like Mayor said it best, like they're going to do it better. Like I could just give one example. When the Wyatts come out, what they're going to put on that screen. But think about it, what would get put on those screens when they walk out, the type of like, everything that's coming up. But I think Mayor once again said the best. I think an NXT PLE will probably be great to test first, or maybe even to I believe they said they're bringing back Bad Blood now for
talks.
Yes.
Yeah, that might be one that they can do, but I do see it more of like too, like in agreement with Mayor, like NXT PLE will probably be the first one that they try.
We gotta get that belt off of Timu Booker T real soon. No, but for real, like the thing you're saying about Bad Blood and PLEs, if you guys remember WrestleMania in Orlando with Bray and Randy, all the graphics that they put on the ring in that match, imagine those same graphics that they were trying to portray around this Sphere. And you're driving down the freeway in Vegas like, oh, what the hell is that? Yeah. That's the type of effect that you have with those type of cinematic matches and things you can do. And then the branding you can do leading up to the event as well.
Yeah. And the stuff that you can play on there while people are driving. So imagine a match going on, and then like he just said, the animations that are put in there. Just imagine riding down the highway and you're watching Roxanne Pop Rock's Lola Vice to retain her title, and you get to see it while you pass by, like, oh, stop, she beat her.
I need to find my shades because it's getting
that's
really
the part
bright.
I have to qualify, because I know they're not going to give the show away for free. I know they're not going to do that.
Yeah,
but I know they're going to have something.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be really interesting. I mean, maybe we could see a Pop Rocks versus Backhand Vice City going
You'll be
down in the
seeing
Sphere. That'd be pretty lit. I would like that.
you'll be seeing Roxanne on SmackDown by end of the summer.
Oh my god.
I'm calling it first.
As much as I love these tete-a-tetes between each other, he's most likely right, man. Lola is just a couple of steps away from holding that belt. I got it.
I personally think it's way too soon. I think it's way too soon. But I mean, I think there's bigger plans at stake with the rest of the division, including like her rivalry with Carmen. At the end of the day, NXT is still developmental. As much as they try to make it bigger than that, yeah, I think they got moves to make before we get to. I think it's October for the CW.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be really, really cool to see wrestling going on, or well, not even just wrestling, but UFC, and see what they do with it. And, hopefully they'll hand it over to us as well, which would be pretty sweet for us wrestling fans. In the world of, councilmen and mayors, we also got presidents. And this man right here, the scissor ace.
Ace.
They're calling him the scissor ace now, apparently. NJPW president Tanahashi has announced that he is going to be teaming up with the Acclaimed at the pay-per-view to face the Elite and Okada at Forbidden Door. Billy Gunn had a really cool way of introducing it as well. I did get to see this little part of it, which was really cool. He's, Billy Gunn, they came, Elite came out and they started talking their mess to the Acclaimed, and Billy Gunn says, well, listen, I'm going to have to stop you guys right there. You guys forgot around here that I am a big deal and I have friends in high places, which I love that he said, because he really does. I also know a president. And on the screen, Tanahashi had appeared and announced that he's going to be a part of this match, and is now a triple threat match going on at Forbidden Door. The Elite and Okada versus Tanahashi and the Acclaimed. Mayor or councilman, either one. What do you guys think of Tanahashi appearing? We know that he hasn't. The last time he was around was the May 25th edition of AEW Collision, when he teamed up with Daniel Garcia and Claudio Castagnoli, which I hate calling him, against Lance Archer and the Righteous. What do you guys think of Tanahashi coming on back down to AEW to school the kids, I guess?
I like it, and I feel like you have to. I think the thing we've been critical of this entire time is that it doesn't feel like a Forbidden Door pay-per-view with some of the matches. So having the president of New Japan, you should have him on the card. And I'm looking at the card right now; it stands at 13 matches, and oh my god, I should just start going to sleep right now so I can have energy for that entire card. But I saw Tanahashi last wrestle at Resurgence here in Ontario. He can absolutely still go. Finding a place for him on the card was necessary, because he's kind of right now, I can make an argument that he's the most notable face of the brand that remains in New Japan that people know stateside. So you have to have him on the card. You have to find him somewhere. But does it save the New Japan card as you look at it rounded out? We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the quality of the matches outweigh the lack of storylines and how rushed it feels. But you absolutely should have the ace on the card.
Yeah. Councilman, what about you?
Yeah, I feel the same. I just feel it's too little too late for this one, at least, because you missed a lot of opportunity to bump this match up. But I think what something y'all said earlier, that fake TK goes for building the story within the matches. So I think it's gonna still be like a good match, especially with him, and then now Okada being seen as this person that's left. So to have them two in the ring after how much has happened, like the president is now basically, like Cedric said, the face, and Okada used to be. So it's like, hopefully they play off of that in this match to show that, and not make it the focus of the Elite trying to take over and do just crazy spots. So they got a chance to do some storytelling with this to give us at least some make this pay-per-view at least now decent, but 13, yeah.
Right. The more, the more, I mean, it's happened since I've, joined this lovely crew, but the more I learn about Tanahashi, the more I like him, to be able to balance being the president of a whole promotion, and then also to be an active roster member as well. I don't know how some people do it, but, and he's obviously still in great shape and could still go. I'm pretty impressed with that aspect of his job and his role in New Japan Pro. I hope it does really good things as far as, getting AEW back to that slot that they need to get at. They kind of been a little lackluster in their ratings and their storytelling and all this stuff, and we've had a really crazy we had multiple discussions over it here. But yeah, this is going to be really, really cool and interesting to see what the president does going against the Elite along with the Acclaim, which should be a really, really good pay-per-view.
And it'll be very telling how I think the biggest critical thing of Forbidden Door and then the partnerships has been the wins and the losses from both sides. We see it with Ring of Honor as well. How they put over New Japan will be the biggest thing I'm looking for.
Yes.
Like if I just scan the card really quick and I look at things like, I think the Tony Storm match with Mina Shirakawa, and it's kind of like, who is Mariah May going to support? You can probably tell a story there if you put the title on Mina, but do you pull that trigger? Things like Zack Sabre versus Orange Cassidy. I know Orange Cassidy is great. I know he has a lot of following, fanfare. He shouldn't beat Zack Sabre in a one-on-one. Shouldn't happen.
No.
Shouldn't happen.
No,
best technical wrestler in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like things like that I look for, and I say, like, how are they going to level this to make sure when these guys actually come over here, it makes sense when you do these matches on a random Rampage or a Dynamite.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we will see what the results will be after Forbidden Door, which is, getting closer and closer by the day. But moving on to a little bit of potentially sad news for me personally, because I was, I feel like this was just like a complete letdown for most altogether. Dijak has announced that his departure from WWE in a recent post on the socials. We've seen him cover we've seen his pro wrestling career begin from chaotic wrestling into Ring of Honor, WWE, where he was also part of Retribution. He was also in NXT. Had some stellar matches against Keith Lee. I would definitely say highly recommend watching those matches again. Even after the failure of Retribution, they still tried to repackage him, but and he was also announced as a member of the Raw roster when they did the draft this year. But unfortunately, Dijak is no longer with the WWE or going. They had not reached an agreement to renew the contract. Councilman, what do you think of the departure of Dijak? Did WWE do what they needed to do with him, or did Dijak deserve better? And if so, where should he go?
Man, I'm so glad he out of there. I'm so glad he gone. It's a it's a Drew McIntyre effect. Like they've done your handling of your character so wrong that you need to leave and go blow up somewhere else. Like it doesn't even have to be AEW. It could be New Japan. Honestly, it could even be NWA. I'd rather it kind of be Japan. But there's this stain after everything that's happened with him. And I don't know why they didn't handle him the way that they should have. Like when he came with his first character, like those matches that he had with Keith Lee, that was a solid package for him. I don't get why they didn't keep that. Like that, like he had everything. He had the moves, he had the mic skills. We were all in for it. And as best we said, like after those Keith Lee matches too with them, I'm like, okay, we got us a big man that could do something. This is what we wanted to see from Baron Corbin.
Not to mention the triple threat at Stand and Deliver with Oba Femi and Josh Briggs.
Three big solid men that put on an excellent match. But I just think from the Vince era, then transferring over to the Triple H era, it just everything we saw with him, and then to the thing from Retribution, it really just it lowered his stock a lot, and it just for some reason didn't resonate over. And like even like with this character, like the Dijak character was cool, but it just wasn't him, and we can tell it's not you.
Right.
And I feel like WWE just didn't allow him to go with like what you already had gold, and then you turned it into fake gold. So I'm just kind of glad that he is gone, and maybe he can go somewhere where they are going to really appreciate his talent. And I think he could do that in New Japan, and then be able to come back to WWE and have a little bit more stock and go right into the main roster. Because I have no idea why he wasn't. He's drafted to Raw, but not given any Raw matches.
Yeah. Mayor, what do you think about the departure of Dijak and where he should go from here if he does?
Well, he got a speed match against Woods, but I don't know what this was. Maybe there weren't any plans for the character. Like for me personally, I wasn't a big fan of the Big Boss Man Dijak character. I thought it was kind of forced, but we know Dijak is a good wrestler. Like I'll pay $50 to watch Dijak fight Keith Lee in my backyard today. I think he's that entertaining. And I think this, if you really want to know my full opinion, I think this is a larger effect of like Joe Gacy tanking everything that he's a part of, but I'll talk about that another time. But him as a wrestler, as a performer, there's not many that can do what he does. Look at what they're doing with Damian Priest right now, who Dijak is younger than. I think that he can go to New Japan. I think it would be hilarious if he went to TNA and found himself back in an NXT platform. But New Japan needs stars. They can make a star out of Dijak against the Jeff Cobbs of the world, against the Lance Archers. His boy Shane Haste, who used to be in Retribution, is over there as well. That would be a perfect move for him. And I think it was just a matter of him like coming to the main roster. Maybe you get the main roster treatment. Maybe you get the main roster check for a while because of your tenure. You deserve that. But they didn't have long-term plans for the character, so they just let the contract ride out. I think he's taken it very well on social media by letting the fans know the truth and also what his aspirations are. And I think going forward, you'll see the best version of him because his character is exactly what you see on Twitter. Him trolling fans, talking shit to people with his ratio stuff, like that's him. If they let him be that version of himself, also he's a former, I think, D1 basketball player, let him showcase more of himself and that he shows online. And then I think you get who you wanted all along.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of our friends and fam in the chat are in agreement and could potentially see Dijak go to New Japan. Dylan says he doesn't see Dijak being appreciated in AEW at all, which I think a lot of us can agree on. Jeffrey asks, why was Dijak competing for the Speed Championship? How they put him on that instead of Raw? Beats me. Yeah, this was a kind of a little fumble. This was a little tiny fumble. I don't think people understand how much of a fumble it was because people didn't even get to see Dijak in his like supreme potential in WWE. I mean, if you want to go to at least what's closest, watch him in NXT, man. Watch him in NXT. Him and Keith Lee. I will always go back to those matches as one of my favorites that he was ever involved with. And him and Keith Lee, what they had, like a best out of 3, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. And they were all bangers. Like again,
killers.
Two big men. They really dropped the ball on.
Yeah. Dylan also says Dijak would be back with another Bronson Reed case. That could possibly happen.
No, I think it is. I think it's the thing. That's why I say it's the Drew McIntyre effect. Like you need to go somewhere so they can see, like, oh dang, okay, yo, this is really something they can stand on. Like I can see him being like New Japan strong champion, going up against folks like Matt Riddle, Nick Namath and stuff, and just having some fire matches. Like him versus Jay White. Oh, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, either way, shout outs to Dijak, and we wish him well on his future endeavors, no matter where he goes, no matter what he decides. He's always definitely a talent that's worth watching. Shadow Ranger says, I don't think it's a fumble. Dijak is very talented, but WWE is overflowing with talented guys. Same with AEW. There just isn't enough TV time to showcase them all. Or either that, or you don't got the bookers. Jeffrey says he's a coolest person to wear sunglasses inside. Dylan says Dijak versus Dragunov cooked. Yes, I forgot about that one. That one was definitely a banger as well. Really quickly, I know, Mayor, do you have to step out yet? Is it time for do you have a? I'm not.
Let's see. I might have time for one more story.
Okay, cool. One more story. Excellent. We could do that. Next up, beloved former WWE personality and host of The Bump, Matt Camp, is pretty much sounding off on WWE and about his release from the company, and had quite a lot to say. I'll just say some of it here. I'm gonna try not to curse here, but sometimes we can't help ourselves. Sorry, boss lady, we love you. Let's see. He goes on to say the idea of the WWE family being total horse manure. WWE did not put out any announcement out. I just disappeared. I disappeared off the bump. I disappeared off the shows. They made no mention of it, which admittedly I thought was pretty shitty. And I'm not asking for a future endeavors thing or anything like that, but that tells you what family means when you work for a company. It doesn't mean anything. You're a number, and that is what I was. And I understand that, but that whole family and we're family is total horse shit. And he proceeded to go on and say he had 3 weeks prior to his release, The Rock showed up at headquarters and told me what a big family this is and shaking hands. And we're so happy to have you all aboard. Went through these meetings after a bunch of cuts happened. And it was, you're still here for a reason. And then I was gone. Whew. Well, he held no punches and he didn't hold back on that. But he's dropping names as well. Councilman, you look like you have something you would like to say. So I'll give you the floor.
Yeah. Who is this? Who is this guy?
He's a part of he's been a part of the panel of the bump
with Kayla.
Oh, that dude that be sitting to the side.
Yeah.
Sir, I hate if he doesn't understand, let me say this to you now. Sir, you don't get goodbyes when you didn't leave no mark in this industry. You a Kayla side piece on the bump. Like, bro, I did not notice you were gone from the bump. Nobody was like, I don't even know this dude's name, but like, oh my gosh, where is the second guy that was next to Kayla Braxton on the bump? Why is he not here anymore? Yo, bro, you not everybody's finna get the announcement. Not everybody's finna get the hey, we wish you well, and like, bro, you ain't making no impact. And that's just what it is.
If you'll permit me, I'm just going to finish up what he said. And people get let go. That's part of the business. And I get that. But that whole family bullshit and The Rock's like, let's take a picture with everybody in it because I want to show that I was here. You put that in quotes. I'm in that picture. And then I'm not here a couple of weeks later. It's all about who's making the money. What's the bottom? That's the bottom line. Mayor, what do you think about these words?
One, Councilman just reminded me of Juice Robinson's promo on Fred Rosser last year during Resurgence, where he was talking about, oh, you remember this guy from the Primetime Players? And he's like, the other guy. So that's a good promo. If you've never seen it, great promo. But I feel him. He's upset. And this was his own personal podcast that he did this on. So it's not like some public platform. But people are going to see it. They're going to run with it. Doing this so publicly has one of two effects. Either you get the sympathy effect, where everybody's like, oh, I feel so bad for you, and they come to bat for you, and then it's like you kind of may get your job back. On the other side of that, it's like people might be like, oh, wow, you're so entitled, and then you never work in this industry again. So he has to toe that line very closely because, I mean, we know the WWE, we see it every year, every Black Monday, that budget cuts do happen. And it's not like it's not like we haven't seen it happen to a lot of great people. What was it not Megan Morant, right? Who left NXT?
Yeah.
Within the past 6 months.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
I know. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, so she's gone from NXT. We know Kayla's stepping down as well. So people come and go. But the thing about that role in WWE is like you never say never is coming back. Kathy Kelly left and came back.
Mhm.
But
Yes, she
him
did.
doing this and actually Mackenzie Mitchell, thank you, Boza, was the one with NXT. So him doing this and actually, I don't want to say he tagged, but referencing Dwayne Johnson as this as something that like irked him, that doesn't look good because now you're calling out the people at the top
The
down.
top.
It's
Exactly.
like not your direct boss that you report to, but the people at the top. You're making it seem like, hey, you're trying to paint a smear campaign against these people. So it's like, why would New Japan, why would TNA, why would AEW or Ring of Honor say, hey, we want to do business with this guy because if we let you go, you're gonna badmouth us afterwards online. So just not a very, I would say, not a wise way to use your platform, especially when you quote unquote gotten the WWE rub. Like you can use that and say, hey, I used to work for WWE. I have this talent. I'm accepting bookings. He chose not to do that. And I can get people being in their feelings because you got to look for a job and things like that. But think about everybody else in America who's looking for a job. I just think it was kind of lowbrow. And I think it might not work out the way he wanted.
I think, like you said,
I don't think Dwayne Johnson is going to DM him and apologize for the picture opportunity.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, then
Absolutely.
it's just a bad shot taken. It's just like how you said, it could be the sympathy or the entitlement, and everything you've wrote just sound like entitlement, and you just sound like, we're taking pictures now. It's like, yeah, what? You're working there at the time these pictures were being taken.
And
you
it's
know
like,
how this business goes.
yes, and it's like if you know how business goes, and you're like, I get that, but then you don't really know how business goes, and you're not even thinking from a business standpoint. You're thinking from an emotional standpoint, and you're now you're emotionally invested and going in your feelings and Twitter fingers. I never understood it. I never understood it, but
it's like, buddy, you worked for the biggest global wrestling brand in the world. You better leverage that.
Yes,
and then especially too, you didn't do anything. You skated by. I'm just being honest, bro. Like the people we just named, like Mackenzie, Kathy Kelly, Kayla Braxton, like they made impacts. Like when they
even
left,
Brandy Rhodes, if you want to talk about it.
Like when Kathy Kelly left, like we wanted Kathy Kelly back. We were just like, dang, man, Kathy Kelly leaving because she made an impact. I'm like, dude, the bump, when we think bump, we think Kayla Braxton. We don't think you.
Or Evan T. Mack. Shout out to Evan T. Mack.
Yeah, like you didn't make no stamp. So it's like, I'm sorry that they didn't give you the tweet that you wanted.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what you got mad for, a tweet.
Yeah, basically. I mean, anyway, I think we spent a little too much energy on that, but it was something that I figured that it was worth talking about. Let's see. Mayor, do you have to get out of here yet, or no? Not yet. You let us know what your time is.
I gotta skate, y'all. I gotta skate. I gotta run to the west side of town. So
really quick, if you don't mind, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on these Twitter streets at says at CEWD_SAYS. On the gram at Said is the Answer. Check out my journalism work on CedricDWeldon.com. Got some cool stuff planned in the wrestling sphere here, new writings, new pods, things like that. So I can finally retire the hashtag blame Jacob Lawrence. And also stay tuned next Wednesday because I will be defending my city, Vice City, on NXT After Show. I will be coming with records and cases that show that my client is innocent and that we are coming for what is owed to us, which is a one-on-one title opportunity.
I don't know who said it in the comments, but somebody said, screw the presidential debate. This is the real debate we need right here. The mayor and the councilman right here. That's the best debate ever. Go ahead, Councilman. What were you going to say?
Cannot wait for us to show how much of a convict your client is. The an assaulter and a bully. How dare she does that to our champion? Stole her property and took pictures of it. You will have your day in court, ma'am.
Oh my goodness! Okay. Oh my goodness!
We're prepared. She's gonna need a lot more than pop rocks.
Look, the Perez.
Mr. Mayor, we look forward to seeing you next time here with us. Always great and a pleasure having you. And you enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next
y'all Monday.
For sure, buddy. Take care.
Ciao, buddy. Appreciate it. Alrighty, Councilman, it's you and me. So in the meantime, just to cool things off the subject matters and the heat from the heat wave that's coming up between the councilman and the mayor going on, and it's a lot that I'm in between. I'm just trying to dodge the bullets here, but let's just go. Let's just quickly give a quick shout out to our sponsors, All Caribbean Wrestling, and play this special commercial for you guys.
Have you heard the news? It's pretty big. I heard from my friend who heard from her friend all the way from the Caribbean. Well, when I heard from my friend, I became super excited. And I think you guys will like it too. WWT now has an official partner, and it's All Caribbean Wrestling, the premier promotion across the Caribbean. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views, or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1. Now, you make sure you go and check them out and tell them WWT sent you. You hear me?
Alrighty, shout outs to our lovely sponsors at All Caribbean Wrestling. We love to see it. Speaking of All Caribbean Wrestling, let's just get right into it, shall we? We have the All Caribbean Wrestling Baja Bash. Shout outs to our professor and boss lady TK, who are in the building for the Bahamas and for the event going on in Nassau. There's going to be a lot of big matches and a lot of meet and greet opportunities that you got to be there for, so make sure you guys stay tuned. It's happening Saturday, June 29th, and if you're around, doors open around 5. The show starts around 5 o'clock, and it's just tickets starting at $10. It's a can't miss event. A lot of superstars that are scheduled. Just for kicks, we have the Hall of Famer and WWE superstar, World's Strongest Man, Mark Henry. We have the ACW champion, Elijah the Pope Burke. Velveteen Dream, aka Patrick Clark Jr., will be there as well. Red Velvet, Top Dollar, Lindsay Dorado, Kenny King, Maserati, the Kentish Brothers, Africa New Nation, and so many more. So make sure you guys check that out. And shout outs again to the boss lady and the professor, just doing that road work. We love to see it here on WWT Live, just keeping it going. Moving on from there. All right now, guys. We got a lot happening tonight. Not only is it Smackdown night, not only am I doing the watch along as per usual, but it is going to be a ceremony of acknowledgement this evening. And just a few special notes about Smackdown this evening. They have expected over 17,000 fans in attendance tonight, which is the highest attendance for TV episodes at MSG in over a decade, and the third highest TV appearance in 2024 this year. So huge congratulations to MSG and SmackDown, just getting them numbers up. And shout outs to the WWE Universe for always contributing. It's going to be a really, really crazy night. But we have an acknowledgement ceremony tonight. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tongaloa, Tamatanga, they're all going to be raising some hell tonight, and hopefully, God willing, they don't put hands on our loving wise man Paul Heyman, so they know their place, because if not, our tribal chief will be upset. He will be upset. We have a lot of other events on the card as well. We got Money in the Bank qualifiers with the triple threat matches. We got Jade Cargill versus Candice LeRae versus Tiffy Stratton, and Naomi versus Blair Davenport versus Indy Hartwell for the women's side. And for the men's, we have LA Knight versus Logan Paul versus Santos Escobar. And there's going to be a lot more. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more transpiring from this. And I can't help but feel that something big is happening tonight. Something is afoot this evening. MSG has always been known to have really wonderful and stapled events and memorable events with WWE, and for this to be a televised one, because they usually do a lot of the house shows and the summer shows there as well. I've been to a few of those and they're awesome, but it's different when it's MSG and it's televised. It's a whole nother level. Councilman, what are you interested in seeing for this evening, and what are some predictions that you could make for some things that could possibly be happening tonight?
One prediction I have, and this I'm gonna say this because I know it's first far-fetched that it would happen. But I would like to see Cody defend the title tonight in MSG.
Oh.
You're in the place where your father won but didn't really win. I would love to see a title defense and Cody wins and be able to say like, "Yo, I retained my championship in the same building my dad was won his in technically." That's all. I know it's a little far. I don't know if they would just do that on the fly and stuff like that, but I would love to see something like that. As far as the qualifiers go for the men, I think Escobar is going to pick up the win just because, you know, this push with Logan Paul and LA Knight for the United States title. I will just say too, I think that is kind of a waste though. Just for the simple fact, two other stars that could have really used that to be in the Money in the Bank should have went in there because we know they're pushing them. I think Blair Davenport will win the other qualifier for the women, just so we can finally start seeing her like on actual television to see what can be done. Or Naomi. It might be Naomi. This other qualifier match is kind of tough because between Jade Cargill and Tiffy,
yeah, it's nuts. I'm just like, why would y'all? And considering the drama that was surfacing around their names a month ago, it's even like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, all right. But
that's the thing. Does Tiffy pin her, or does she get pinned by? Does Tiffy get pinned?
The possibilities are endless, and there could be so much controversy that comes from it. I, however, would like to see. I mean, Jade Cargill. I mean, Jade Cargill has an advantage, but I feel like Candice LeRae is going to come out of this one on top for some reason. For some reason, I just feel like Candice LeRae could be a possible potential winner and a qualifier for the Money in the Bank.
I can see that. It's a three. You can see these three having excellent spots in the Money in the Bank.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, none of them are like I don't see it happening because like Candice is definitely getting more TV time.
Right. I'm picking Naomi for the other qualifier. But she's got some tough competition in there in Blair Davenport. Indy Hartwell, I think, you know, she's just there to help make some good spots as well. Let's go LA Knight. I'm getting LA Knight to take the win on this one, because anybody but Logan Paul, please, Lord have mercy, anybody but Logan Paul. And if not, also, you know what, you might be right about Santos Escobar, only because LA Knight wants to go after the U.S. title, and their beef is going to only start connecting from there to go into Money in the Bank. Got it. I see where your head's at. I see where your head's at. Let's go back into some of these comments, because there's some really, really, really interesting comments going on here. Let's see. Bo says, well, honey, what about this? Another acknowledgement ceremony. Yes, indeed. Another acknowledgement ceremony for a member of the bloodline that is not part of my tribal chief's bloodline. Just saying. And we're going to keep saying it. Dylan says, surely I'm not the only one who thinks Jacob Fatu might be a plant from the OG tribal chief. You know what? I never really thought of it that way. But after doing all the damage that he did to Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, I don't think he's a plant. But I don't think he's also taking orders from the rightful tribal chief either. There's somebody else calling shots. And that somebody, according to Bear Hudson, who's been in the comments again with these little hints about watching out for tonight, something's going down. A lot of people are predicting that we might see a certain Dwayne Johnson, councilman. Do you think that is possible?
Maybe.
It is MSG. I'm just saying, it is MSG.
It is, but it's just I don't. Oh wow, Timu bloodline is hilarious. Yo, shout out to Cedric on this, because the Timu bloodline. I don't know if it's too soon for him to acknowledge this bloodline as of yet. I think we still need to see them as a whole function, a whole faction, and what they can do. But if he is here, I would, like that lets us know, like you said, like if he's riding with them or if it's going to be something else.
Yeah, really quick, I just wanted to put this comment out there. Jeffrey says, I feel like Jimmy's going to return soon. I feel like that's cooking up too. I feel like we're definitely going to see the return of Jimmy. But when?
I think we see him at Money in the Bank because they've already announced the 6-man tag match between, and we don't know which one of the bloodlines, all of them of who are fighting. We know Solo will be there. I'm sure Tama Tonga, since he's the right-hand man, but they haven't said if it's going to be Tongaloa or Jacob that is going to be a part of the 6-man. But we know all 4 will be out there, and I've noticed that they've been very particular on just showing Cody, Kevin, and Randy, which means, okay, you need that 4th person to help you. And I think it is going to be Jimmy making a return to get his revenge. And I think this is going to be one of the first things we see of how this bloodline will operate. And they need to come out strong for us to see it serious.
All I know is that in the matter of time, it will be here. The moment will be here when we hear this again.
Can't no man knock me out. I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody. This is my show. This is my camera. I run it all.
Lord, I can't wait.
That's the only acknowledgement I give. That's the only acknowledgement I give.
Seriously,
I don't know what this ceremony about, but the only tribal I acknowledge is our tribal chief.
Okay,
not this Timu head of the table that they got out here in these streets.
Timu head of the table. Shout outs to the bloodline, though, and of course, again, we want to send our love and condolences to them. They just lost their patriarch, Mr. Sika Anawai, who just passed away just a couple of days ago. We wish them well. Tribal chief, take your time, because we know when you come back, it's over. It's game over for a lot of these people. They don't even know. A few interesting comments here. Dylan says Paul Heyman's going to be nice to Caleb Braxton with the stress that man is under watch. And a lot of people in the chat are in agreement. I think that'll be pretty funny, and that'll be a pretty awesome moment. Considering the interactions that those two have had, classic interviews and classic timeless moments between those two with Kayla and Paul Heyman. Dylan says, what if Roman pulls up tonight? Listen, I don't know. I don't think so. But the man is doing meet and greets and meeting, fans and stuff like that, and still doing his thing and still putting in that work. So shout outs to the tribal chief. We love him so much. And this is why he is mine and the councilman's tribal chief. And we acknowledge him as the true tribal chief. Yeah. Dylan says Jimmy's going to get the mic and say the tribal chief sent me and watch the pop. That would be crazy. Yeah. That would be pretty crazy. Jeffrey also says Solo wishes he could cut a promo like Roman. His voice too soft. Boza says, well, Honey would faint if her tribal chief pulled up today. Councilman would too. Yeah, I would especially faint, especially knowing that he's only a half-hour train ride away from me. And I was like, damn it. That would be amazing. But I've seen our tribal chief quite a few times, and I'm okay with sitting out on this one, because besides, I have to host the Honey Smackdown watch along tonight. But before we get into that, we must do the hard thing. And the hard thing is to say farewell to the lovely, talented, beautiful Kayla Braxton, who has given us 8 wonderful years of commentary work, from her shows on the Bump, from doing the pre-shows to the PLEs to backstage work with Paul Heyman and all other superstars. We love to see growth, and we can't wait to see where she goes from here and what her future endeavors will bring her. Councilman, what are your thoughts on the lovely Miss Kayla Braxton departing from our WWE?
It's kind of like graduation or like a TV show, man. Eventually it's time to move on, and you know, you hate to see Kayla Braxton go, but you also know wherever Kayla Braxton's finna go, they are finna be very lucky to have her in whatever endeavor she's doing. I'm liking the way that she's handling her departure. I do like the way WWE is handling her departure, and I think that's why we got people that's getting pissed off because they weren't giving their goodbyes the way that she's being given her goodbyes, and it sounds very petty as F. But I'm liking that how she handles it, killing the rumors of like, hey, I'm not leaving the best industry, the best product in this industry to go somewhere else. It's like, yo, it's just kind of like Kathy Kelly. She wants to expand her wings, see where she can go. And just like Kathy Kelly, I wish nothing but the best for her. I hope wherever life takes her next, she is enjoyed, she is appreciated, and for the talent that she is, and for the wonderful personality that she is. So I too hope that we get a Paul Heyman segment where Paul is nice to her, where it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Kayla, thank you.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that. I think I think was it Dylan that said it or Boza? A few people said it, but I think there's gonna be a moment where Paul Heyman is seen backstage a little stressed out because of everything that's going on with the Temu bloodline, and maybe Kayla's gonna console him, or maybe she's not. Maybe she's gonna treat him the way he would treat her. You know, when he was with the tribal chief and thought he was so tough. Imagine she turns it around and, you know, puts the heat on him. I think that's going to be funny. Dylan says we might even get a hug. We might even get a hug. That now you want to talk about creating moments. That's going to be a moment for Kayla. And you know what? I hope she doesn't cry on her sign off too. Like, it's going to make me really emotional to watch.
Nah, she will, because you know you're going to get the thank you Kayla chance tonight. You definitely going to get that. I want to see Paul Heyman be like, will you take me with you?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Can
take me with you? Yeah, like the way he did with CM Punk. Even that Jeffrey thinks that they're going to bump into each other from out of nowhere. It's going to be really cool. I could see them setting time aside to say goodnight tonight to say goodbye, Kayla, for sure. And you know what? We wish her all the luck and best in the world going forward, no matter what she chooses. I mean, whoever, you know, wherever she goes and wherever she lands, they would be very blessed to have her, because anything that she does turns to gold. So shout outs to Kayla Braxton. We thank you, Kayla. I want to see some thank you Kaylas in the chat. So shout outs to Miss Kayla Braxton. We love it. Love to see you. Thank you for a wonderful 8 years. Also, just before we go, Councilman and I would like you to go cop some merch.
Hey, yo, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen, not knowing what you want to do, like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like, literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. Alright? What you waiting for? Head to www.talkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Shit.
You know what I'm about to say. Please don't make her fight you. Just go to www.talkpod.com and check out all the cool stuff we have on there for you guys. Yeah, and I think that pretty much just about covers it for today, for this Friday edition of WWT Live, which was really, really awesome. Councilman, do you have any final thoughts on any of the topics that we had discussed? Maybe the ones you might have missed early when you came in, or and then let the people know how they could find you.
Just only comment I have is just what a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Indeed.
We had some dark days from 2015 to 2022, with only our tribal chief guiding the light as best as he could. But yeah, I'm just glad to see it, and don't burn bridges when you leaving somewhere, because you never know what's gonna happen. And I don't know, just that story rubbed me the wrong way. It just like,
when life opens a door, when life closes one door, it opens a window. You just got to remember that, folks. You just got to remember that, and humble yourselves and be grateful for the days that you got and for the things that you know.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. What else going to say on there?
No, I was just gonna say for Bozo, I feel for those content creators covering Sunday, 13 matches plus probably a 2-hour scrum. We have Mariah versus Saraya on the pre-show, Owen Cup. Yes, there's a lot going on with AEW as well for those of you guys tuning in. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Jeffrey, he's so
He's
funny.
right.
But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But Councilman, how can the good people of the universe find you?
Y'all can find me at a live near you this Saturday. Again, I'm facing Big John Newport for the WWE BBC title. It is going down. We are fighting in a big back match. That means there's no rules, no nothing. We got the big back straps we coming out with, the big back kendo canes. It is what good old JR says is going to be a slobber knocker this Saturday. No cameras. It won't be live. We're not allowed to be live and stuff like that. But you can come check us out in Hershey, Pennsylvania this Saturday. Come and join us. It is going to be a match. I don't know who else on the card, but who cares who else on the card? I'm the champ. So come check me out.
Jeffrey says we need to see the reveal of that belt. Councilman, you are absolutely a crack up. I appreciate it. Always love to have one half of WWT's electrifying tag team champions in digital entertainment. I appreciate everybody and shout outs to everybody in the chat. Let's just go through some of the lists. Matt, Joseph, Dylan, Jeffrey, Eric was in here somewhere. Happy belated birthday to you, sir. I did say Boza. I did say Jeffrey. I know there's some Bear Hudson out here with your hints and your your QR codes in word form. I appreciate it. Appreciate your energy as well. Shadow Ranger, that's who I was missing. Shadow Ranger, shout outs to you, Eddie as well. Appreciate everybody always for coming on in and treating us well and hanging out with us here at WWT Live. You know, you guys could always find me here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with the WWT Live crew, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, depending on where you're at. And don't forget to check out my socials, Wrestling with Honey, Instagram, Wrestling with Honey, TikTok, Facebook, Wrestling W Honey, as well as the YouTube page, Wrestling with Honey podcast. And don't forget to stay tuned, guys, because in 30 minutes, we got the Honey Smackdown watch along here on WWT Live going on as well. So make sure you guys hang out with me later on. We can talk some 2-hour wrestling and we can watch this acknowledgement show together and brag about who the rightful tribal chief really is. Always great. There's only one. There can only be one. There can only be one, and that's it. That's the straw. That's what I said. And yeah, shout outs to the boss lady, TK, and shout out to Professor. Hope you guys are having a wonderful time in the Bahamas and have a wonderful time at Baja Bash with All Caribbean Wrestling. Always appreciate the work that they do, so that way we continue the work that we do. And shout out to our sponsors as well, All Caribbean Wrestling. We appreciate you guys as well. Am I missing any comments here? Let's go. Jeffrey says, let's go Smackdown with Honey. You already know what time it is. We are gonna get out of here, but just one more thing before we go. I wanted to find it. Where is it? Ah, yes. Don't forget, always acknowledge your tribal chief.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Always. Make sure you guys tune in.
Do we start calling it Honey Night Smackdown?
Ooh, Honey Night Smackdown. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, this is Honey Night Smackdown, man. Make sure
right now. All right, Friday night, Honey Night Smackdown. I'm feeling it. I might have to get a patent on that one. Make a t-shirt out of that somewhere. But yes, again, shout out to you guys. We always love the energy here and we appreciate your time with us. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the Honey Smackdown watch along coming up in 30 minutes. Till then, this is the Councilman and I am Wrestling with Honey, the WWT's electrifying tag team champions in digital entertainment, and we are part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Ciao for now.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms. Like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpaw.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.